Best countries to stay and work remotely. Mexico, as chosen by Joel Balsam. Cenotes and cabanas, mountains and mezcal, temples and tacos. Mexico is the stuff of dreams for travelers, and remote workers too. Situated in a corresponding time zone to many U.S. cities, it has decent Wi-Fi and tourist visas that last for 6 months. Despite the pandemic, Mexico's beaches still swarm with visitors, so steer clear of the sand and opt instead for the country's cultural corazon, heart, Oaxaca. In Oaxaca City, I'd take breaks from working at its many incredible cafes and co-working spaces to walk past 500-year-old churches and cute artisan taller workshops, and then eat at a food stall, dipping my tongue in Oaxaca's culinary ocean. On weekends, I'd like to skyscraping villages in the Sierra Norte Mountains and taste smoky mezcal. While Mexico has struggled with COVID-19, Oaxaca is faring okay. It's currently classified yellow, meaning bars and restaurants are open to 11 p.m. but events, museums, and tourist sites are closed. Still, it's a fantastic place to just walk and wander. Australia, as chosen by Anita Isalska. Sand, surf, and sunshine hardly need restating. But Australia's allure for remote workers goes deeper than the country's good looks. There's a culture of optimism and resilience that makes you feel anchored, even if you're far from home. Aussies make time for the outdoors and time for the pub, read, work-life balance. Plus, there's a wealth of outstanding cafes to work from. When I was caught between lockdowns and travel restrictions, Canberra was my refuge. Only screeching cockatoos disturbed my laptop time. I'd take lunch hour cycle rides by Lake Burley Griffin and weekend walks up Mount Ainslie. I didn't have a single bad meal, whether polished cabbage rolls, French patisserie, or nibbles at a winery. Regional travel restrictions are tentatively easing, but it'll take longer for non-Australians to join in. Currently, only citizens and permanent residents can enter, and with a pricey 14-day hotel quarantine. Roll on safer and freer travel to allow a delicious remote work dilemma between cities like Sydney, Brisbane, and Perth. Japan, as chosen by Philip Tang. For remote workers, Japan slowly reveals its charms. Big cities like Tokyo can be intense and dazzling, but intriguingly calm in their back streets. Here, the circular Yamanote train line whisks you from sky-high apartments to the temple greenery of Meiji Shrine. Then on to scores of tiny whiskey nooks or darkened sake bars for you to discover. The country is kind of solo diners too. Restaurants offer individual space seating and ramen or tishoku meal sets. For one, I like to work in cute, uncrowded towns and sightseeing in the afternoon. In Kurashiki, I'd often traipse along the historical canal area. In Saijo, I'd explore sake breweries. Finding somewhere I can work for hours can be a fun challenge. For sudden deadlines, Japan's 24 hours convenience stores are handy for seating, free Wi-Fi, and actual good bento meal boxes. At other times, I tap away in an internet cafe room, which often has a bed for napping. A cafe with outdoor seating is gold right now, and it can be anywhere. Without being tied to an office, workers have the usually tourist-heavy Kyoto all to themselves. Meanwhile, mountain air towns and cities hugging the coast are easy to reach on discounted bullet trains, which are still operating during the pandemic. Colombia, as chosen by Danielle Gorsi. Colombia has it all. It's the only South American country with access to both the Caribbean and Pacific coastlines. The dizzying hulk of the Andes cut right across its bows, and a third of its territory is the jungle, including the rich, biodiverse Amazon rainforest. Not bad choices for a Zoom background. Typically, I'd base myself in Medellin, Colombia's progressive second city, and I'd work from a cafe in the tree-lined Laurels neighborhood, a central hub alive with fondas, bars blasting traditional Colombian music. I'd always walk to my daily Spanish class and then unwind in the evening with outdoor salsa lessons. On weekends, I'd often explore the vast Park RV, an ecological nature reserve, and pre-Hispanic archaeological site. Medellin has slowed down during the pandemic, but with a street food scene that's centered around cheap and filling treats like arepas, cornmeal cakes, and empanadas, filled pastries. residents have adapted to the new restrictions. Indonesia, as chosen by Mark Ebley. Indonesia has over 17,500 islands, but not all offer equal appeal for digital nomads. Java and Bali have the best infrastructure with fast and inexpensive internet, great cafes, and lifestyles that can be as healthy or as fast-paced as you wish. Most remote workers are drawn to two places, the highland town of Ubud, which appeals to yogis, and the hipster beachfront vibe of Canggu, a surfer's paradise. I prefer to stay in West Bali, an ideal island paradise, where jungle mists rise out of the valleys at first light and drift out across the rice paddies and up over the volcanoes. It's a slower-paced spot where you'll spot people in sarongs wafting incense upwards to the gods in ornate Hindu temples. My days would start with a coffee on the beach and end with local arak and coke in the same place. The affordable rent and cheap internet are just bonuses. Work is defined by the tides, and I would ease out of my office, my hammock, each day for high-tide surf sessions at my favorite point break. South Africa, as chosen by Miridatani. It's the sheer variety of experiences and cultures that make South Africa one of the best places to work remotely. There's usually reliable Wi-Fi, high-quality but low-cost food, plus weather and landscapes for all temperaments. I've taken my laptop to the Northern Cape's deserts, tapped away with views of the Atlantic from Paternoster, and filed copies from many a Cape Town hostel. My most memorable office, however, was at the family-run Umkhumbi Lodge in KwaZulu-Natal, close to Hlolu Imfolozi Park. My desk was outdoors in the family garden, with two boa constrictors for company. At the weekend, I'd go on game drives, potter around Hlolu, or drive north to Kosi Bay near the Mozambique border to snorkel. South Africa is currently on the lowest of its 5-tier COVID restrictions. International borders are open, but with travel off the cards for many, those spectacular beaches and national parks remain pleasantly crowd-free. Georgia, as chosen by Jonathan Campion. Affordable, safe, and with a new remote working visa, Georgia may not top online searches for digital nomads, but this very little country has everything that freelancers could need. With the Black Sea resort of Batumi to the west, the inspiring Caucasus Mountains in the north, and many other spectacular places to experience in between, working from this bridge between Europe and Asia always puts me in a productive mood. I tend to work from the capital Tbilisi, a vivacious and positive little city, much like its people, with legendary food and wine to look forward to in the evening. For freelancers looking to relocate, they need to be from one of 95 countries and earn at least $2,000 a month. New arrivals will have to quarantine on arrival right now, but Georgia itself isn't locked down, though a few precautionary measures are in place like restaurants closing early and a 10 p.m. curfew in the cities. United Arab Emirates, as chosen by Gabby Beckford. As the future-facing, technologically innovative, ever-evolving gem of the Middle East, the United Arab Emirates has been geared up to welcome remote workers for years. Each of the 7 Emirates exudes its own charm and lifestyle, but Dubai, which has recently unveiled a new 1-year-long visa for freelancers, is where to plug in. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.